Hello traders, and welcome back to yet another weekly analysis video. As ever, my name is Dima and I'm going to be helping you through picking some interesting chart setups, some opportunities in the markets for this week. It's not only a new week for the 4th of July, it's also a new month and a new quarter. So this is going to be an interesting one to look at. It's for the week beginning 4th of July. So hope you're having a good week. Thank you for watching and your weekend's gone well. Let's have a look at some of the setups that I've looked through, that I found, and I've narrowed it down. I've got a short list here. I'm going to go through the Aussie dollar, euro, yen as a cross pair. I'll look at silver, Brent oil, and Bitcoin. So before I begin, let's look at the economic calendar, and just to get an overview of what's going to happen, where the volatility could kick in. So I've got here this week and also the rest of the month. So week beginning Monday, 4th of July. What I can see in major news is we've got the rate statement from Australia. So that will affect the Aussie pairs. We've got FOMC minutes, so that will affect dollar pairs. We have also got on Friday a speech from the European Central Bank, so that will affect the euro. We've got CAD unemployment, and the big one, which is NFP. So remember, NFP week, first week of the month, is something to pay attention to. Tread more carefully, and let's see how we can trade around that and find some good opportunities. Now, I'm also going to bear in mind, not just for this week, but for the rest of the month, as we've got a new month. Let's just have a look. We have a few very interesting bits of news. We have a rate statement for New Zealand. We have a rate statement for the Bank of Canada. We have, what else have we got here? We've got a Bank of Japan report, and we've got a rate statement on euro. So yeah, wow, big news, big month. And we've got the Fed funds rate on the dollar later towards the end of the month on 27th of July. So the big month here, we may see some real interesting moves and volatility. So we want to make note of that, take a mental note, and really have trade carefully with the price action. And you may want to wait until the news hits, let the news play out before you set on your direction, because expect some unpredictable moves, possible not just volatility, but just unpredictable moves, and we may see some various spikes and unexpected price action. So with that in mind, let's begin and have a look at the charts. So I'm going to start with the major Aussie dollar. Looking at the monthly, I can see that this candle here at the moment is the current month, because we've had 1st of July, it was a Friday. So let's look at the previous month, closed bearish, and we're in this retracement scenario. So let's just begin by drawing a fib, and fib from here, this low to the obvious high. And where I can see that the market has hit the 50 level, and we're going to hit the next level down here, and I've actually drawn the fib the wrong way around. I have to excuse that. Okay, so we hit the 50. The next level to look at it would be the 61.8. So we're going to look at, seeing as we're at the midpoint, we're going to look for a nice deeper retracement before this continuation to higher, to go for the market to go higher. So we do also, in correlation, have a strong dollar at the moment, so continued weakness in Aussie dollar chart would make sense. So we're going to look for a short scenario. So this market looked to go down. So with that, let's go down a time frame into the weekly, see what the weekly chart says. All right, so last week, very obvious bearish close. We also closed below these lows, all these lows. So really very clear bearish scenario on the Aussie dollar. I'm going to zoom in one more, look at the daily. let's see what we can find. We're going to refine it, going to really look a bit deeper in the market and see what the price action tells us. So Friday closed very bearish, obvious to see. Now going to look at next possible scenario to sell. Where would be a good sell from? Well, going to want a higher price, a more expensive price to sell from. That will be higher probability. So what I'm looking at the moment, let me just one moment. Let me find what am I looking for the horizontal line. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line here. There's a level right here that I see, and I can draw another one. Another one would be here. So this would create our zone to possibly trade from, to possibly sell from, and this will be a so-called support resistance, if that's what you like to call it. I will go down now to the 4 hour. Let's refine it even further and see what happens. So I can see this swing here, swing high, we've got swing low, and I can draw a Fibonacci. Take it to the low and to the high. And you can see that the actual zone that I drew out with these between these two green lines falls within the 61.8 level. So I'll be looking to have some price action here and a higher probability trade to possibly short from that level. I'm not saying the market is going to reach there. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. Market can do anything it wants. But should it reach there and should it create some price action and a rejection of that level, perhaps some wicks to the upside and perhaps some nice bearish price action, then I'll be looking to short. That would be the higher probability scenario. And we're going to go down. If we just zoom out again, let me zoom out to the weekly. Going to go down to the next obvious level. And where is that next obvious level? We marked out 61 here, didn't we? 61 level is down here. So that will give a nice risk to reward. But again, the market may not reach that level at the 60, let's call it 65, 0.65. There'll be plenty of opportunities to take profit along the way. So that's what I'll be looking at. Let me just look out 4 hour time frame one more time. And yeah, really bearing in mind, we have Aussie news, we have NFP, which will affect the dollar. So both on both sides, both the Aussie and the dollar, we've got I've got news to look out for, and I'm gonna have to bear in mind the volatility there. Okay, right then. So that's the setup I'm looking for on the Aussie dollar. Bear that in mind. All right, let me move now to Euro Yen. And once again, let's do the same analysis again on Euro Yen, 1 month time frame. Right, monthly time frame last month closed very clearly bullish, closing higher, and I would expect to see a little bit more bullish momentum, continuation of that bullishness to the top of this week, to that level right here. So let me just mark that out just so it's obvious. Much easier to see when you've got things marked out, not just in your head. Yeah, let's mark the chart up. Okay, that's the 1 month. Let's go down to the weekly. Weekly, we see bullish candles, and then we go last week bearish. Now, this could be a brief bearish week. We did leave, if you just ignore that, this lock, because I'm recording this on a Sunday. So we got this wick here, which may see some continued either a range accumulation, sideways market on a low time frame, or another move higher. Close that. Let's go down to the daily. Let's look at the daily candles. So on the daily, what we can see here is this kind of triple top, isn't there? And the interesting thing is that the market hasn't, it's dropped down, but it hasn't collapsed down, and it hasn't broken this swing low right here. So we may see yet another push higher, especially as what would most traders have for those going short? They would have a stop loss above here on this levels, above these levels. So the market would likely break through those stop loss to take the liquidity to go against those traders. That's what the market tends to do. And because of that, I'm going to look at this swing point right here from this low to this high, because I am looking at a continuation of that upside. I'm not convinced yet that we've had the rejection of this level of this green line 144.5 and it's going to the downside. So because I'm not convinced of that yet, I think there might be another push up. That could be a possibility. So I'm looking at that scenario combined with a higher time frame, the fact that it's bullish overall. I'm still gonna stick to that. So let's look at Fibonacci level. Gonna put it at the high to this low, and if I zoom in, I'm gonna look inside, and you can see that we've touched the 61.8 here and rejected and left a wick on the previous day. So that indicates that there could be possible rejection and a bit more upside, at least on the lower time frames. So I'm gonna delete this fib and I'm gonna look at this wick as the reference point. I'm gonna go down to the 4 hour. And we can see that wick a little bit more, even more obvious. So what do I expect next? Well, to make this a higher probability scenario, I would expect the market to break the structure. And at the moment, we've got this structure right here of this downward sort of channel. And we'd want to break that and break the structure, break highs and create new highs, and higher lows to show that there's bullishness. Now, what would that look like? Well, let's have a look. It could look like this. So I could draw a trend line here or a channel, and I look for the break of this trend line, and I'll definitely would like to see a break of this high right here, because that's the last major structural high, this one right here. And then once we break that, we go higher, come back down into this zone, into this level, and then bounce and go higher still, and then we'd be going higher with the market. So it would be something like so: a bounce here, bounce back down. Once the market breaks, bounce back down, and then from somewhere around here we'd have the trade long to the upside. And that would give a nice better price with a bit of confirmation. So that's what I'm looking at, the euro yen, and I am really basing it, not afraid of all this choppy price action. You know, we've got higher highs, higher lows, and then lower lows, and then lower highs. So some people could see this whole thing as a range. I'm still seeing bullishness because of the factors that I just mentioned, these highs and the higher time frame overall. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at, euro yen. Plus yen is very weak. If you look at other currencies, we've got a bit of correlation. So if you've got the yen, you can also look at the euro yen, I should say. You can look at other cross yen pairs. So we got pound yen, we got CAD yen, and we've got Swiss yen. So with those, if you look at those as well, you will see that they're also in their bullish scenario, and there's extreme weakness on the yen that we've seen over the last few weeks, and you can check that out on your chart, do a little bit of homework on that side, and then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Right then, yep, this is the euro yen. Okay, let's move on. So those are the currencies, Forex. Let's go to silver now. I'm going to metal, so I've got a nice little pick and mix here just for you to get some variety. Again, I'm going to start for the monthly, and again, it's this is sort of a similar picture if you see to the previous chart. We've got this impulsive move up and then a slow gradual move down. This is more like most likely the retracement. Now again, I'm going to draw a fib and see how deeply have we gone in the retracement so far. So we've gone the 50, we've cleared the 50% level, and now we're going down to the 61.8. That's what I'm looking at as the next point. So this current candle I can ignore because it's this month, and previous month candle is this one right here. Very obviously bearish, a kind of an upside down pin bar, if you like. And we're going to look to trade into this 18.2 1855 I see as the next level. So let me put a horizontal line and mark that line out. Let me delete the fib, so I don't need that anymore. And that's what I'll see as the next target, continuing on this downside pressure for now. Okay, weekly. Weekly, again, very obvious to see. Last week closed very bearish, closed below previous swing low and this major swing low right here. So now the question is, where am I going to look to short from? I'm going to look for a good price to sell, to go down. And we want to really move down from continuation of the move down. Right, I can see we've had this move right here. You can maybe spot this swing high, swing low, and I can also see this level forming of these 2 points. So I'm going to draw that out. Let's just mark it up, horizontal line right here. Going to join this zone right here. So I'll be looking to short from around this level. I can also draw a fib of this low, current low, but we'll see what Monday does, and this high. And I can see that again, look at that, it's matches with the 61.8 level. So that will be the area, a zone to look out for. Again, want to see price action, want to see confirmation, see a rejection, don't want to see continued bullish candles closing higher. Want to see it coming off that level and then continuing on its merry way down into this 18.5 level. And that will give a much better risk reward. Otherwise, shorting from here is not a favorable scenario, not high probability and bad risk reward, and then it's just yeah, you don't wanna leave it hanging and buying at a cheap price. Selling at a cheap price. You wanna sell an expensive price. So that's the silver for me. I can go down to 4 hour. Let's have a look at a bit more detail what price action is saying here. Yeah, so I can see lots of bearish candles, and now we may have this brief retracement. We've got a little gap in the price here. We've got bearish, 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 and the move began from here. There was this consolidation right here, and then we moved down. So I wouldn't expect the market to breach this level, this high right here, swing point. And if it does, then I'll have to reassess the situation because we may not be so bearish anymore. This trade will be invalid and won't like that anymore, won't like that setup. Okay, that's silver. Right, next let's go to Brent oil, and again going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to look at the monthly. Very obviously bullish, bullish, bullish. We had a brief previous month of bearishness, left a little wick to the downside, so we haven't broken previous month's lows like here on this low. So I'm not convinced that this is a reversal or anything like that. We have left this wick, so I'll be looking at this price, this wick up here, as the next target for the bullish scenario. Let me put a horizontal line. Let's mark that up. Very clearly bullish. You can see creating very clear highs, very higher highs, very clear higher lows. We're just bullish, and this, oops, that was my mistake. Okay, very obvious to see. And yeah, I'm not afraid of this bearish candle, to be honest with you. Considering this extreme bullishness, it might be just a brief sort of stopover, brief pullback and continuation. Let's look down on the weekly now, with that in mind, with the bullish mindset. Again, on the weekly, you can see more further proof of that. Very clear wicks here, pushing to the upside, creating higher highs, higher lows, breaking this structural level right here, which it broke here a few weeks back. And now we're creating more wicks. And yeah, this is the previous week, which closed pretty neutral. Week before that was bearish. So we haven't got any confirmation of the continuous bullishness yet. It's sort of indecisive at the moment, and it's just hanging around this sort of level right here between these two high here and the low here. And then we have to see, in order to see the confirmation, a continuation to the upside, I'm going to see some more price action, and we need the bullish price action. So let's go down on the daily, again bearing in mind, holding that idea that we are looking for more more likely bullishness than bearishness. But let's see where it goes. We're going to see more confirmation. Okay, we had this what can we see here? We had this Friday closed bullish, rejected this retracement, created this retracement, and we have the break of this structure, this high broken a few weeks back. Excuse my reminder here, my bell. And this was a pullback. So then in that case, what I'll be looking at in terms of this scenario is, let me just draw it out for you. In order to maintain the bullish scenario, the buy scenario, and going up, do not want to see this level being broken, because this is the last major swing low, and if it's broken, we may go lower. Now, at the same time, we've got this obvious previous high. Let me just mark it up, this one right here. So in order to confirm the bullishness, we want to break this high right here. So if it does break that high, the scenario that I'll be looking at will be a break, and then I'll be looking for the pullback, and then a continuation to the upside into this level that I marked out before, 131 or so. Yeah, so that will be the scenario. Now, who knows what's going to happen? We may have the market ranging for some time. I don't know that. But if we do have a break to the downside, then I'll be looking for the opposite of this scenario. So basically a break of structure lower, pullback, and then continuation to downside. And we have all these structures low right here where market may aim for if it goes further down still. But we have to see if that happens. The more higher probability scenario that I see happening is the up move. Okay, so that's oil and Brent oil with that scenario. And yeah, you may want to also look at the 4-hour time frame to get your entry, and even the 1 hour to really hone in on the price action and hone in on the candles. You can see on the 1 hour we've got some rejection here, but on the weekly it's not as clear. Let's see where the market takes us. I want to see it show its hand and then take action. At the moment, we do have higher highs and higher lows, but structure is not fully clear. Yeah, like I was saying, looking at the higher time frame, would have liked to see a nice previous week bullish to confirm that, but we didn't have that. We had a neutral, more or less neutral candle, and with this wick left to the upside, which is yeah, warning sign really. Uncertainty. Yeah, I'll call it that for now. Not as clear as it could be. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to end up with crypto, Bitcoin. I'm going to do the same. Start on the monthly, and let's have a look. Right. Again, impulse move up like we've seen in previous charts, and we're seeing this retracement now. Very clear bearishness in this retracement. And we've got finished the previous month bearish. And yeah, obvious bearishness at the moment. So let's see if I draw some levels. Let's look at some levels here. Draw a line, horizontal line. We've got this level right here. So the retracement may be reaching for this price point, which is the 14,000 or so level. We've broken these structures lower right here, bearish, bearish, bearish. Let's look at the weekly time frame and more clarity. Yeah, continued bearishness. Week before was closed indecisive, an inside bar or harami. So yeah, no sign of bullishness here, is there? And I'll be looking at this green line for the market to reach next this next level. And we'll see if that happens next week or the following weeks. Remember, we've got lots of news, especially on the dollar, and Bitcoin is priced in dollars for the Bitcoin chart. So that could have an effect. So we're going to have to trade carefully here. We'll see how the price action works out. Let's look on the daily to see if we can find any possible scenarios for the shorting opportunity. Now, what am I seeing is straight away can see the break from this major structural level we've broken and gone lower. And if I draw a fib level from the last obvious high to the current low, you can see that we haven't even retraced into the halfway mark, which is an obvious, and like the 61.8 and above. So again, we're gonna pay attention to that, and this so-called support resistance level, or level to look at, coincides with the 61.8. We had that major down move, so before selling short we want to see a higher price to short from for a higher probability, better risk reward, and it would be around this mark right here, 26.5 until about 29.5 or so. The market may not give that retracement because it's very heavy, so we're gonna have to wait and see how it goes for now. At the moment it's ranging, it's really indecisive, there's no clear price action here, but it's heavy, so it may even drop even further straight down, and if it does that and it doesn't create retracement, then yeah, so be it. I just have to accept what the market is telling us, but I would see that as a higher probability. Let me just remove the fib, and the question here is, do we want to trade into this move here to make use of this whole retracement? It would be the riskier trade to take because we don't actually know if it's going to make that retracement, and if it is going to do that and it's going to reach all the way up here, it could reach maybe a shallow retracement to this sort of high right here, which is the 22,000 level, and then drop. So it's going to be definitely more risky. Now let me just share with you what I see as a possibility to make use of that trade, if I'm going to consider it. So the way I'm going to do this is draw a fib just to outline where the retracements are from an obvious high to an obvious current low. And I can see the market made a deep retracement after this impulse leg on the lower time frame, and it retraced beyond the 61 level. So this could be the end of the retracement. We had this very short impulse candle. So to confirm, to give a high probability scenario to the buy, what I would do is I'm going to draw a reference point, which is this high right here. And what I'm going to say is that if the market breaks this high, that would show some significance, some more, let's call it probability, willingness to go to the upside. And you can also draw another if you want. Oops. Just shift this, shift this. You could say that this could be a trend line. So again, broken trend line would be shift to the upside in combination with this broken structure point. And then after that, what could look for is a break. Classic pullback. Get this line working. Pullback and then continuation as before. Continuation to the upside, yeah. So that would be what I'll be looking at, and I'll be looking at the market to reach this level here. We don't know if it's going to do that. Who knows where price will take us, but this should prove as a nice, better risk reward, safer trade, and slightly higher probability. So watch out for that, or watch out for the market completely dropping. Again, just like the other ones, we've got NFP, we've got major news, and later in the month we might see the market just range. It usually does that before big news items, and just ranges and waits, accumulates orders, and really fools traders when the news hits. And that's why you see the spike. It will take traders out and let the market settle. Let's see what happens. Really, I would prefer to let it play out, see how it goes. Especially we've got FOMC, NFP. I've got a rate statement, a big news, and all happening this month. So let's see how it goes. It may be a interesting time. Yeah. let's see where this big time frame retracement ends. If I go back to the weekly, we may be in a bullish scenario. We are bullish overall in terms of really high time frame, because we've got these higher highs, higher lows, and this could be a retracement for Bitcoin, but no certainty yet. We want to see a very nice bounce here. Let me just show it to you. I'll just remove all of this now. We don't need it. Just clean it up. Clear chart is a clear mind, and vice versa. So I'm going to go to the monthly. It's a bit cleaner chart here. And let me draw a fib. So I'm going to draw the fib from the extreme high to the low where the move started from. You can see that we've gone beyond this 61.8 level, so we're in a deep retracement. So on the very, very high time frame, we have a bullish sort of structure here where we've got higher highs, and at the moment we've gone into this deep retracement. So yeah, unless we've got this level broken here on Bitcoin and this level of 3,500, I'm seeing it bullish for now on the very high time frame. So we're going to keep this in mind. We've got the lower time frames we're trading off, and we've got the bigger picture on Bitcoin. So let's see what happens and where the price action tells us to go. But on a very, very large scale, for later this month and beyond this month, if you're going to look at that, then we're going to see a nice reaction of retracement somewhere around this zone here, or a little bit below, to confirm the very big time frame, which is the buy scenario, which is up. Okay, so that is Bitcoin. I'm getting more popular these days, and yeah, if you trade it, watch out for that. At the moment, as you can see, the candles don't lie. We've got extreme bearishness here at the moment. All right, so watch out for the news this week and this month, and with the volatility, and trade carefully, manage your risk, and let the market play out for you. If you're not sure, if it's uncertain, let the chart tell you what it wants to do, and the candles play out. The candles will tell you, price action will tell you what the market is doing, as long as you allow it to do that. Okay, trade safe, and I'll be with you in the next week or following weeks. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name's Dima, and hope that was useful for you to give you some trade ideas in the market, and analyzing top down the market where it's at. Okay, speak to you soon, and happy trading. Okay, bye for now.